So I just had a baby 2 weeks ago, and this is her. But that's why I might be distracted. If I'm looking away, I'm still here. I'm just distracted. So anyway, and she's way cuter to look at, but I'm gonna make you look at. Except for, I don't know where I went. Oh, you guys are seeing my drawer. There it is. Okay. Hello. Turn around, camera. Has it turned around yet?
Yep. Yeah. Is it just still laying on you? It turned around.
Okay, there I am. I'm just looking at the big screen. Is it on me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to talk about, well, here's the thing. I try to be pretty real in life because it just doesn't work to try and hide all the hard parts of life because there's just a lot. So I'm going to tell you, like, how it's really been for me. Because, like I said, I just had a baby 2 weeks ago. And I let pregnancy get the best of me in going after my health goals and working my business a little bit, and lots of people say, oh, you're totally justified, it's so hard to be pregnant or to have a baby, and keep doing that thing. And it's true, like, it is hard, but at the same time, it's excuses, because we really can accomplish whatever we set our mind to, regardless of our circumstances. And so, I mean, like, I'm always stuck in between this, like, give yourself a break kind of a thing, because I really was pregnant and had a baby, but at the same time, like, I really could have done more than I did. So I'm going to talk about being consistent in your business and working your business and personal development, and how that worked for me and how it didn't work for me when I wasn't doing it. So to be consistent really just means doing it every day. And you've probably heard it a million times with other trainings that we've done or talked about, and where it says it's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. Because you know the truth of that statement. Like, adding people to your network every day, and just, kind of trying to reach out and talk to other people on a daily basis, that's easy to do, but it's also really easy not to do. And the thing is if that you don't do it, then you start running out of people really fast. And so then the progression and the momentum just kind of stops. And so it's so much harder to build back up if you're not doing it consistently, than it is to try and start over and over and over to try and keep getting that momentum going. So when I came back from Summit last July, I was like all pumped, and I was at the highest paid rank that I'd, ever achieved within a year of coaching, and things were just flowing for me. And it had gotten a little bit easy, to be honest, because I had put in the work every day for a year, and people had started establishing me as a Beachbody coach. People started wanting to work with me, and it was like people were asking me about stuff, and I was having, this paycheck come in every week that didn't feel like I was even working that hard for at that point, because I had done, so much work prior to that to get Success Club and to get the leads that the company gives you, each month. And so that starts to accumulate, and you start getting that money, and you're kind of like, hey, wow, this is good. And so I let my guard down a little bit, and then I got pregnant, and I meant to, and I wanted to. And I thought I could continue being just how I was as a pregnant, in my pregnancy, but I just totally forgot what it was like to be pregnant. And I am like a totally different person when I'm pregnant. And it was like an uphill battle for everything. And so slowly I started letting my business go. And I wasn't doing all of the same things every day, because when you're puking every meal over the toilet, you stop worrying about networking and, those kinds of things. And so by the time I reached my third trimester, I had kind of almost completely given up on working the business daily. And my health journey started struggling too. I was like, you know what? I'm already fat. I'm going to eat all my sugar cravings anyway. And so that started affecting me too. And I started thinking about quitting, and quitting being a Beachbody coach, because I can't remember who it was that I listened to. this really changed things for me too, which is kind of part of personal development, because it was like business personal development. And I think it was Brittany Leggett. I listened to a video that she did, and Micah put it on the team page and was like, listen to this now. And I just happened to check it that day, and I was like, all right, Micah says listen to it now, so I'm going to. And I listened to it, and she talked about how we have this constant pull with ourselves. And like, if we're not reaching the goals that we've set, then there's this uncomfortable feeling. We want to be comfortable. And so if we're not doing what we should be doing to get to that goal, then we feel uncomfortable because we're not reaching that goal. And then we feel uncomfortable with ourselves because the goal's up here and we're down here. And so she says, but that's not, she says, Beachbody's not your problem though, with your goals in that way. She's saying, if you quit now, you're going to have this problem again in life because you're constantly never staying the same. So whether it's a Beachbody goal or not, you're going to feel uncomfortable at different times in your life because if you're not doing the work to get to where you're feeling like you should be, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And quitting makes you feel easy at first, like it makes you feel better about things because then you're like, okay, I don't have that pressure on myself anymore. But then eventually you start finding that pressure in other places anyway. So that really hit me hard, and I was like, okay, it's not Beachbody that's my problem, so quitting isn't going to make me feel better. What's going to make me feel better is actually doing the work to help me get to where I feel like I should be, instead of running away and feeling like, oh, I can't do this anymore, I'm failing, and then, getting the heck out of there so I can feel better about it. Then I was like, okay, I just got to do the work so that I can feel better about it and get to where I'm going. So that's how that video affected me. And personal development is something I've kind of jumped in and out of since becoming a coach. And Carly has been really good for me in that way, in being a success partner, because we've read books together, we discuss them, and she's like, what are you reading? And I'm like, I'm picking a book right now. And so, but the thing about personal development is that even through my pregnancy, as I'd kind of go in and out of listening to it, it always lit a fire under me every time I listened. And like, seriously, sometimes I only listen for 10 minutes a day. And I still, like, when I'm in the shower is probably the number one time I listen to personal development. But those 10 minutes always light a fire under me. And I always, like, I really don't care what you're listening to. I always connect with something, no matter what the book is or the topic. Like, if it's a business kind of personal development, like how to grow your business, that's not going to build your mind frame as much. So I guess when I say I don't care what you're listening to, but if it's like, something to build yourself up, it doesn't matter what you're listening to, because you're going to find something that's relatable to you with everything that you listen to. And every time I listen to it, I think, okay, I can do this. Like, I don't need to quit. I can do this. And that day I would like totally rock it out and actually work my business. And so even though I wasn't consistent on a daily basis throughout my pregnancy, those times where I did actually work would give me the momentum to pull forward and actually be successful. Now, fast forward, I'm 2 weeks postpartum from having this baby, and like instantly after having her, I feel like myself again. I really don't know how to explain it. It's ridiculous that pregnancy changed so much for me, but it's the reality of it, hormones and whatever. And I feel like myself again, and I've worked my business every day for the past week. And like, it hasn't necessarily been like huge amounts, like, the basic power hour, but I'll tell you already, like, I sold the challenge pack a couple of days ago, which was something that I haven't been able to do for 6 months. And it's people that I'd been talking to and who'd been interested. But I mean, I think just the consistency of my business is what brought, the results. And so if you're struggling to have results and struggling to help people, it might be because you're struggling to be consistent. And part of being consistent is building trust with people. If you're consistently posting 3 to 5 times a day, and why do we do that? Why so many times, 3 to 5 times? Because people aren't seeing your stuff. If you're only posting once a day, you don't even know how many people probably didn't see it, So we're trying to get into everyone's newsfeed. That's why so often. Anyway, if you are posting consistently 3 to 5 times a day, people are going to start seeing your stuff, whether it was just one post out of those 5. but they'll start like I said, when it was starting to get easy, when I'd hit my diamond rank easier, is because people were contacting me because they had already established that they could trust me, they liked me, and they wanted to know what I was doing. So people were asking me about it instead of me having to start, to be fishing for other people, it's a constant thing. You're doing both of those things. But I think consistency is number one with building trust with the people that we want to be helping. And so, if nothing else, think of it that way, that you're building yourself to be trustworthy to help other people. And I promise, if you do even just 1 week consistently every day, or even like 6 days consistently every day, because I don't really work my business on Sundays. I try and leave that as a family day. But if you do it for 6 days consistently, you will see greater results than you had been doing. And I really, really believe that you will, because that momentum it picks itself up and just keeps rolling forward. And if you're not listening to PD or reading PD, you really, really ought to, because life is hard enough with all the negativity around us that I've started seeing it as like a mental defense. We're constantly being bombarded with, I don't know, negative stuff everywhere in the media and on Facebook. And so it's kind of like fighting back, kind of like taking control of your thoughts and being positive, because people notice the positivity that you send. And if you're radiating positivity, people are naturally drawn to you. And that's the kind of person I want to be. So pick something today. And if all you can do is 10 minutes every day when you're showering, and it takes you a month and a half to 3 months to finish one book, it's okay. Just listen to it every day. And that is what's going to make you have that fire under your bum to actually work your business and to feel good about yourself and to be the kind of person that people want to be around. And the end scene. I don't know. Did you want to add anything, Carly, to what I said?
Well, the only thing I did want to add, I think, of course, we're always harder on ourselves, right, than other people are, for the most part. And I feel like when you say you were inconsistent throughout your pregnancy, that you might be referring more to behind the scenes stuff. Would that be accurate when you say that?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like she was still posting, you guys, she was still sharing her pregnancy. She was still sharing her struggles. She was still sharing even her wins, her victories in pregnancy. So I just didn't want you to think she's saying she didn't do a single thing her entire pregnancy, because she did. She's like power hours, and she wasn't as consistent with that, right? Is that what you would say?
Yes.
Or am I I don't want to misspeak. I just wanted to clarify, just so.
No, you're right. You're right.
I could just quit my business for like 10 months and then be cool. Like,
no, you're right. You're right. Because I am being hard on myself, because we have people on Team Inspiration who are pregnant and awesome rock stars who are like doing master's hammer and chisel exercises, and that just wasn't me, and so I had to stop comparing myself and deal with what was okay with me, and figure out that if all I can do is walk around the block a few times, that was all I could do, and be okay with that. But
yeah, and you were still sharing that,
I was sharing that with people.
Shared about her workout, like I would see her post, like,
so posting probably was the only thing I was consistent with through pregnancy.
Which still helped build value and build trust. Like, never underestimate the power of your posts, even if they're only getting like 5 likes. Like, don't ever underestimate that, because you don't know how many people saw it and read it and didn't actually comment. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do your power. That's why she lost momentum. I mean, she wasn't doing behind the scenes stuff, and you lose momentum if you're not talking to people, right? Because all the magic doesn't happen on your like forefront, your billboard or whatever.
Right.
Sorry, I'm gonna turn on one more light and then I'll talk through this.
Right. So, anybody have any questions at this point? Not that I am expert.
And we can always take some more questions at the end if you don't have any right now. If you want to think about it while I'm talking, and you think of more for either Erin or myself, you can ask us. I'll try to be super quick, and I probably will anyways. Unless I start rambling and then someone has to tell me, because then I've gone too far. But,
well, I rambled some. I like my voice.
No. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, see, I'll ramble if I start talking about that. Okay, so I'm going to talk about kind of the fear of posting and inviting, which several of you, let's see, that was number 3. So whenever we did the numbers, my team on the post, if you put number 3 on there, that's the one I'm going to talk about in just a sec, which also goes hand in hand with being vulnerable. And what was the other one? Oh, running out of warm market. A lot of you had, I don't know if it's a fear, but you feel like that's one reason you're not hitting Success Club. All these things we're talking about are reasons that some of us were feeling like we're not hitting Success Club. Maybe you were just a couple of them, maybe you were all of them, but they were definitely reasons for at least one of you or someone who's watching the recording. But okay, so I'll just talk about the fear of posting and inviting first and being vulnerable. And first of all, the most important thing for this goes along with what Erin was talking about. Personal development. Like the reason that a lot of us are afraid to post is because our mindset isn't right. Okay. Or I shouldn't say it's not right, but it's not in the right place to post that and feel okay with that. There's a couple of things. We're either afraid of what other people might think about us. We're afraid of what a family member is going to think about us. We don't want a family member to see something, or I'm trying to think of another one. There might be another reason or another thing you're feeling, but I feel like it usually boils down to what other people think about us, right? That's our fear. So that's a struggle. That's a real thing. So I don't want to make you feel like that's not a real thing. So, but personal development is the biggest thing that helped me with that, is understanding that like I have value to give and I'm here to help people. And I'm shedding positive light. I'm not like this negative person in their news feed. I'm not like, there's no reason for someone to dislike what I'm putting out there. So if they choose to not want to see it or dislike it, then is that somebody that I want in my life anyways? The answer is probably no. You know, like if they don't want to see my positive quote, or they don't want to see that I did my workout, or they think it's dumb or whatever, like, okay, well, they can think it's dumb, but I did my workout and I feel good about that, you know? And I also know that it could help someone else just by me posting that. Someone else could be motivated by that. So try to keep those things in mind. And one book that I read was actually plug Abby's ears, is You Are a Badass, which, guys, I don't like foul language at all. So the book was a little like iffy for me to even read it, but it did kind of give me that like badass mentality to myself, not like so that I was posting like crazy mother effer this, that, you know, but like, because she kind of talks that way. Okay. So if you do get it, you have to know that. If you're like me, at first I was like, whoa, and I got it on Audible. Don't do that.
Yeah. Read it. Cause then you can skip over the words.
Kind of bleep it out. But if you listen to it, it's like worse. But anyways, see, I'm not even making you want to read it. But it gives you that, I feel like it gives you a good self-confidence boost. Even though I don't like certain things about it, I like the idea that it is right in how you should feel about yourself. I feel like, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's a good one to start if you have low self-confidence, or you feel like you're too worried about what other people think. I would say that's a good place to start. There are other books.
She debunks your worries about yourself. She like pinpoints them and then says that's why this is garbage, and like that's why it helps lift you up, because you're like you're right.
Yeah, no, it's for real. Has anyone read it on here? I can't remember. Katie, you read it, didn't you? Yeah, I can't hear her, but I think she read it. But Brene Brown is another one that has a lot of books. They're a little more uplifting. They're probably a little more healthier for the, I think she's a Christian author. Don't quote me on that, but I think that she is. I have not read them yet, but they are on my list to read next, or like Gifts of Imperfection maybe. And there's other ones, but
I'm reading Rising Strong right now.
Yeah.
That's a Brene Brown one. And it talks about, letting yourself feel emotion and getting curious and how to deal with failure and rising up. Anyway, it's good.
No, awesome. Because I've heard such good things about it. And so I feel like that's a good way. It's kind of more of an internal way to deal with it, right? I mean, not that you're a badass isn't. But anyways, I think all of those will help you with that fear. And then the other thing is, some people I've noticed, and this is something that I've struggled with myself a little bit, is some things, like when you're trying to be vulnerable, right? Because you want to be real with people. You know, life isn't always roses. It's not always butterflies. It's not always great. You're not always perfect. But you don't want to be like negative Nancy, because nobody wants that, right? There always has to be a silver lining. But so when you get vulnerable and you share these things, you want to have the silver lining, but also there might be people in your life you don't want to read that, right? Or you might think, oh, what if this person reads that and they call me and they think, whether it's mom or sister or whatever. So I have some of those stresses sometimes, you know, and what I have to do is either just word it in a way that I'm still getting the struggle out there, and that people still can relate to me and see that vulnerability, but where it's not going to hurt anybody maybe, or I just block people from seeing it. Did you guys know you can do that? You can post and you can just block certain people. So it's not a public post, but your friends are still seeing it and just other people aren't seeing it. I do that a lot. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you are doing a vulnerable one and you still want your friends to see it and you want people to relate to you, it's not always a bad idea. And then if your family doesn't follow you on Instagram, go post away, right? You can be super vulnerable over there. So there are tricks to get around that if you struggle with family issues. So I think that's kind of all I'm going to talk about on that. But if you have more questions or concerns you want to talk personally with me or with Erin about fears you have with posting, if I didn't address them, then like just reach out to us and we can just have a one-on-one conversation. No big deal. And the other thing is running out of warm market. That's a lot of people's fears. And again, that was something I was scared when I started. I don't even remember. I wish I would like screenshot my Instagram before I started, because it might have been like under 20 followers or something like that. And like, I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm ever going to build my Instagram. And then my Facebook, I think just had a couple hundred friends. And I was like, okay. And like, I never posted except on holidays on Facebook, you know? And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to build a business on Facebook, but I never do anything. But hey, I can do this, right? And so I really was nervous. I wasn't like that confident, but I mean, Micah was my coach and she really gave me that confidence and instilled that in me that like, you can do this. It's okay, because she's right. Like there's millions of people in this world. That's actually incorrect. There's probably billions. I don't actually know how many people are in the world, but we're in North America, right? Canada, United States. But we're about to expand even bigger, I think to the UK or something like that. I don't even know if they've announced, but we're expanding somewhere else. So guys, there's tons and tons of people. Like it was when I realized, I remember I told Andrew and I was like, Andrew, did you know that like I connect with people that I don't know? Like for real. I was like, I'm supposed to like meet people through this job. Like I didn't know that. I thought I was just it was my warm market. I was just going to have friends and they were going to sign up and I was going to build a business together. And when I realized, I was kind of scared. I told him like, that's almost scary. Like I would have used to think that was dangerous or something, but then I kind of embraced it. And then it was really fun, because it's fun when you start to like get outside of the people that you know. Like the people that I know are great and I have a lot of good customers. Like I knew Fawn, you know, from high school. And like, so it's not like the people you know are bad. You're going to have some really good challengers, even coaches out of that, and friendships and things like that. But then you expand to like mutual friends. So one of the things that I do a lot is, so I'll go to a friend who I have a lot of things in common with, and I'll go to their friend list. And I remember this felt weird a little bit at first, but then I realized I'm literally just finding people to connect with that are like me, that might need a workout program. Maybe they had a baby, or maybe, you know, maybe they're feeling some of those things I was feeling. So I'm just trying to find people to connect with. And so I would just go through their friends list. And if we had mutual friends, I would add them. Maybe I didn't know them personally, but we were on, we maybe both have kids or, you know, living the mom life, that kind of thing. And so we connect in some way. And then I just connect with them. And that's one way that I build my network. That's not a super cold market. It's kind of a warmish cold market because you have mutual friends. And then the other way that I get totally cold market people is Instagram and my Facebook like page. So both of those have helped me to expand my network outside of people that I know. And I guarantee most coaches will tell you that is a I don't know if it's where the magic happens or it's where you get more comfortable because you don't have a history with these people. You've just built a relationship with them. You're friends on a different kind of level. There's no history there. And it's easier to talk to them. And so anyways, just keep in mind, I don't want to go on and on. It's already 8:30, right? So, but I want you to understand there's just a great big world out there, you know? It's kind of cliche, but just keep that in mind. There's lots of people and you can find them. And if you need help with a like page, I'd be happy to talk with you about that. And kind of just through some things that I've done. And basically with my like page, I've just been consistent. Sometimes I do run ads, but I've posted consistently. And I did find one ad that I just kind of keep running all the time to help bring people to my page. But yeah, and Instagram, I think all of you are on Instagram. And that's fun because there's a lot of fitness and health people on Instagram. So a lot of people are looking for people like you, you know, they're looking for someone who does health and fitness and could maybe help them. So it's a good place to find people. So, and a lot of people I've met there, I've brought over to Facebook and we're friends on Facebook and then we warm up to each other. It's not like, oh, hey, I see you. Now do you want to join my challenge group? Like you become friends, like really, like you build a relationship and then it's like that trust that Erin's talking about and value. And eventually either they come to you or it's the right time to really share your journey with them and you have a conversation about it. So never underestimate the power of building relationships and remember cold market people are good. Like don't let it be scary. So, but yeah, that's kind of all that I was going to talk about. I would love to field any questions, like even if it's not necessarily about these topics, if you have another question about coaching or something like that, that's been burning on your brain and you want to ask it, this is a good time. I mean, I have a few more minutes at least that we could chat. Anyone has anything? And hopefully that made sense. If it didn't, ask a question about what I said. Sometimes I talk fast and I don't make sense, but that's okay. Part of the process. Nobody? Quiet.
Okay, I'll ask a question.
Okay, good.
Yay!
Can you block people from seeing your posts on Instagram like you can on Facebook?
I have not found a way without blocking the single person.
It's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did look, but I'm not the guru of Instagram though. Facebook is still more my jam, but I try to do Instagram. So yeah, I'm sorry. I do block a lot of crazos on Instagram.
To that, I would say don't give up on it completely. Like, do post that on Facebook and block whoever, you know, like if that's something that you feel comfortable with, and then post something else on Instagram. You know, like, don't give up on it just because you can't do the same thing on both.
Sure.
Oh, and don't make all your posts where you block someone just because you do want some of them to be public. So that you're still getting traction in both departments. Like if it's just a regular post you don't mind people seeing, don't forget to go back and forth. Does that make sense? Because sometimes the security will be stuck on the one and you'll not notice it or something. I think it's better for traction if you go back and forth and don't meet. But yeah, that was a good question. Let us know if you ever figure out how to block.
Whatever, she wants to block you.
I know. She doesn't want me to see it. That's funny. She got stuck on my team, and now she doesn't want me to see.
I'm looking for a new coach.
That's funny. Well, you better quit now because you have 6 months. You have to wait.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys could pop on for sure. And I'm super excited to see everyone's business flourish. I feel like a lot of great things are about to happen for you guys. And I'm trying to think what else. If you haven't talked to me about goals yet, I'm always happy to talk with you about goals and like working through your plan, which I know Fawn will talk. I don't know, is that next week? Something like that.
Yeah.
about it. But, and Katie, you already sent me yours. So I guess everyone on here has already sent me theirs. But if you're not on here and you're watching the recording, send me your goals. So, alrighty.
Okay, so Stephanie, you message me with any questions you have, okay?
I can do that.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys. And that message thread for My Girls that you guys are in, you can always ask questions in that too. I know it's not super active, but you can always like start conversations in it. And like, that's kind of what we do. Like, well, I shouldn't say we're not actually in the same thread, but like I'm in a thread with Micah and some other coaches. And like, even if Micah's not talking, you know, we're still like talking in the thread. If you ever want to run like a post by each other, like a biz opportunity post or something like that, just you can post it in the thread and we can look at it and talk through it together. Because I know sometimes it's scary to post those if you haven't posted one, you know? Oh, one more thing. See, here's what I do. But okay, this is an important rambling and then I'll be done. Jaylyn Barnes, if you don't follow her, I guess she was an elite coach last year. But anyways, she's a really good coach. And she is one of Micah's top leaders. But she's super, super vulnerable, like really vulnerable. So I follow her just because I follow her, Ashley Smith, Melissa Brewer. Those are just some coaches I keep at the top of my newsfeed because not like as a comparison thing. So like if it makes you compare yourself to them, don't do this. But if you can look at it objectively, which is what I do, and I like the way that they post, and they all post a little bit differently in the way that they share their journeys. And so it always gives me a fresh perspective and a different outlook. And like, oh, I could kind of post something similar, like not necessarily taking everything they said, but using it kind of as a starting point to give me a different perspective to share with people. And Jaylyn's is helpful because she is so vulnerable. It kind of gives you an idea of how you could be more vulnerable, gives you different topics you could talk about. So just an idea. And I have the video that Erin was talking about, I posted in the team page. I'll boost or like I'll comment on it so it pops up to the top if you want to check out what she was talking about with the not quitting video. And then Jaylyn has a vulnerable video and I'll also comment that. It's in the page somewhere. So I'll knock those to the top and you guys can check them out if you have time. They're both really good videos. So rambling, done. Any questions? Okay, I really will. I'm gonna stop the